Welcome back, dear listeners. Tonight, I'm going to take you on a personal journey. So, dim the lights, get comfortable, and prepare to be haunted by every creak and whisper in the dark. I've always been a night owl. Working late at the office suited me, allowing me to avoid the hustle and bustle of daytime. My routine was simple: work until midnight, then take the quiet road home. This road, lined with ancient oaks, twisted and turned through an isolated stretch of countryside. Normally, the solitude was a comfort. But tonight, it would become my worst nightmare. It began as I finished my work, packing up my things in the dim office light. The last of my colleagues had left hours ago, and the silence in the building was almost deafening. I felt a strange, prickling sensation at the back of my neck, as though someone were watching me. Shaking off the feeling, I grabbed my coat and bag, heading out into the cold night air. The drive started as usual. I turned on my favorite playlist and set off down the lonely road, my headlights cutting through the darkness. The towering trees cast long shadows that danced and flickered, playing tricks on my eyes. About halfway home, my music abruptly stopped. I glanced at the radio, but it seemed to be working fine. Frustrated, I fiddled with the controls, trying to bring the sound back. Then I saw it, a shadow, larger and darker than the rest, standing just within the tree line. My heart skipped a beat. I blinked, and it was gone. Convinced it was a trick of the light, I shook my head and continued driving. But the unease was growing, gnawing at my nerves. Suddenly, the shadow reappeared, this time in the middle of the road. I slammed on the brakes, my car skidding to a halt. The figure was tall, almost inhumanly so, its form vague and shifting as though it were made of smoke. I could see no face, no features, just an overwhelming darkness that seemed to swallow the light around it. Panic surged through me. I locked the doors and pressed the accelerator, swerving around the shadow. As I sped away, I glanced in the rearview mirror. The shadow was following me, keeping pace with the car, despite its impossible appearance. It seemed to glide effortlessly, its form stretching and twisting. My phone rang, startling me. I fumbled to answer it, hoping for some distraction. "Hello?" I said, my voice trembling. A distorted voice crackled through the speaker. "You can't escape the shadows, Nina." I dropped the phone, my heart pounding. How did it know my name? The shadow loomed closer, its presence almost tangible now, pressing in on me. I felt as though the darkness was seeping into the car, suffocating me. I sped up, my mind racing. I had to get home, had to find safety. The road seemed to stretch endlessly, the trees growing denser, their branches forming a canopy that blocked out the moonlight. The shadow remained relentless, always just behind me, a constant, terrifying companion. Finally, I saw the turnoff to my house. I swerved onto the gravel driveway, the tires kicking up dust and rocks. I could see the lights of my home, a beacon of hope in the oppressive darkness. I bolted from the car, not daring to look back, and rushed to the front door. I fumbled with my keys, my hands shaking uncontrollably. The door swung open, and I slammed it shut behind me, locking every bolt and chain. I leaned against the door, breathing heavily, my eyes scanning the darkened living room. Everything seemed normal. The house was still and silent. But the relief was short-lived. The shadow was inside. I saw it out of the corner of my eye, a dark mass lingering at the edge of the room. My breath hitched as it began to move, creeping along the walls, its form distorting and stretching. I backed away, my mind racing. This couldn't be real. Shadows don't move on their own. Desperate, I grabbed my phone and called my best friend, hoping for some semblance of normalcy. "Lila, please come over. Something's wrong." My voice trailed off as I realized the call had disconnected. The screen displayed a single message. "You can't escape the shadows." Tears streamed down my face. I ran to the bedroom, slamming the door and turning on every light. I grabbed a flashlight from my nightstand, pointing it at the door, hoping to ward off the darkness. The light flickered, and I heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps approaching. The shadow seeped under the door, its form twisting and writhing. I backed into a corner, the flashlight shaking in my hands. "What do you want?" I screamed, my voice cracking with fear. The shadow paused, and for a moment, the room was deathly silent. Then, in a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere, it whispered, "I am the darkness you cannot hide from. I am your fear." I felt a coldness wash over me, deeper than anything I'd ever felt before. The shadow advanced, enveloping the room in its oppressive presence. The flashlight flickered and died, plunging me into complete darkness. In the blackness, I felt a cold hand on my shoulder. I screamed, but no sound came out. The darkness pressed in, suffocating me, filling my lungs, my mind. My vision blurred, and I collapsed to the floor, the shadow consuming me completely. The next morning, Lila arrived at my house, worried about me. She found the front door ajar, the house eerily quiet. She called out, but there was no response. As she walked through the house, she felt a chill in the air, a sense of foreboding. She found me in the bedroom, unconscious on the floor. Lila shook me, calling my name. My eyes fluttered open, but they were empty, void of any recognition. I whispered one word before falling back into unconsciousness. "Shadow." Lila felt a shiver run down her spine. She glanced around the room, and for a moment, she thought she saw a dark shape flicker in the corner. But when she looked again, it was gone. She gathered me in her arms, determined to get me help, but the sense of unease remained. As we left the house, Lila couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. She glanced back one last time and saw it, the shadow, lurking at the edge of the room, waiting for its next victim. Remember, dear listeners, sometimes the darkness holds more than just shadows. Keep your lights on, and beware of what may be lurking just beyond the edge of your vision. Until next time, sweet dreams. If you dare.